So you're saying about this three-way, four-way.
Yeah, well, three-way, and then Nate Diaz has McGregor on the side. But Nate Diaz seems to be calling everyone out. So obviously, Ben Askren has now said he's going to. He said Jake Paul can box. He does suck at boxing. But he said to Nate Diaz, if people think Nate Diaz will beat him in MMA, they're idiots, and that he would go back into the USADA testing pool, come out of retirement to face Nate Diaz for his last fight, is what he said in one of his tweets. So that's quite interesting. I don't think Nate would take. I don't know if he'd take that fight, but
Well, depend. I mean, his contract to the UFC is coming close to expiration, isn't it? And they want to get rid of him or so.
I don't know if they want to get rid of him. I just don't think. I think he's going to ask for a crazy amount of money, and they won't. They won't give him the money.
Well, you say then, you could be right, because there's the entertainment factor. Is he still as entertaining as he was before? Does he still wow the crowd? Both him and his brother Nick, they've got that cult following for some reason. Even when they lose a fight, people still cheer for them and they'll boo the winner. So they can ask, but I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard that the Diaz brothers are needle movers. So in that respect, I would have thought that yeah, they might get what they're asking for. But I mean, it depends on the circumstance. I mean, does Dana White and his group of cronies, do they believe that Nick Diaz is worth the money he's going to be asking for?
Yeah, it depends on them. I think he is. I think behind McGregor, it's Diaz and then maybe Masvidal, who are the top three. Colby and Usman could be up there. Well, that's them together, but they're the top three that if you put them against anyone, it's gonna draw. Like, so they're the kind of A side, as you'd call it, So like they could get it back, but I think he's gonna look for a ridiculous amount of money. I think he might, if he got the chance, I think he might box Jake Paul. Because he probably sees how much money can potentially be made there. Granted, if Jake Paul comes through his next fight, which is against Tommy Fury, which is against a proper boxer, which is something you've been waiting for a while, and it's not too far away.
No, it's not. It's not. It's less than a month away now. And I watched the press conference between all four of them. Tyson Fury was there, Mr. Fury was there, Tommy Fury was there, and then via video link, the Jake Paul was there. I've said his name. So hopefully, if anyone's listening to this or watching this on YouTube, don't switch off, please. Okay. So I said, I said, but I was watching that press conference, and I think the person who was most riled up the most, that really Jake Paul really got under their skin, was Tommy and Tyson's dad, Mr. Fury. God, he said, if you lose, I mean, he said something along the lines of, if your girlfriend was here, I'll do her in front of everybody. And I'm sure I heard the hush.
I know exactly what he said, because I've seen it about 10 times in the past 10 minutes before we got on. It was, if you lose, I'm going to bend your girlfriend over and do her like a dog. And even Tommy looked kind of, wow.
Yeah. Well, look, this fight, I think, is the one true fight that, for so far, it's my opinion that depending on how it goes, whichever way, I mean, it'll be a true test for Jake Paul. And even Tommy Fury was saying a lot of the things that I've been saying, a lot of the things that I've been thinking. I'm sure you've been thinking, and many other people may have shared the same opinion also, that for this guy, this isn't really, a career. He doesn't have an amateur background like many others do. I have an amateur background. This is something I want to do. It's my passion. It's my career. I believe in this. It's something that, it's in my blood. I want to do this, not for the fame or for even for the money, but because it's something I love doing. For Jake Paul, he said this is just another avenue for attention seeking. So yeah, I mean, I think that for Jake Paul, this fight again will be a true test. And I also have the underlying feeling that, is he going to pull out at the last minute?
I don't think so. I really don't think so, but anything could happen. But I don't think he will. I think he's going to fight him. Like you said, this will be a true test. If he beats him, will you say he's a good boxer then?
Yeah, but Tommy Fury is a boxer. He's a professional boxer.
I know. But will you say he's a good boxer then if he beats Tommy Fury? Or would you?
Not just yet. Not just yet, because that's just one professional boxer. There's many others. After Tommy Fury, what about Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury could step in after Tyson Fury, and I may get a lot of backlash from me called an idiot for saying this. As many, even those who I think are now retired, Amir Khan, he can come out. He could come out of retirement and still compete against Jake Paul. He's still young. What about 34, 35? So that's another possible matchup if Amir Khan wants that, and if the organizers want that to happen. But no, I not just yet, no, because I still see this guy as an attention-seeking person. Why was he wearing sunglasses in that press conference?
But sure, a lot of other fighters do. Tyron Woodley wore sunglasses when they had their face-to-face.
Yeah, but Woodley, maybe not in boxing. Tyron Woodley is an established figure of combat sports as far as mixed martial arts is concerned. So everybody knows what he's capable of. Tyron Woodley, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, Tyron Woodley isn't someone who does what he's doing. That is mixed martial arts, even though he's retired. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't do it for the attention. He does it because he likes the sport. He does it because he loves the sport. He believes in it. Not only now, okay, he's retired, but he's not doing it for the attention side of things. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean. But why can he wear glasses and not Jake Paul? Just because?
No, it's just what I'm saying is that there's certain things that there's a certain privilege that certain athletes will have in this. When I say athletes, I mean I don't regard Jake Paul as an athlete. Sorry, I just don't. I don't regard Jake Paul as an athlete. I don't regard Logan Paul as an athlete. Because they've not done enough to prove themselves, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry if you're sick and tired of hearing that, but they haven't done enough to prove themselves as a known and established figure and quantity in this sport of combat sports, whether it's boxing, mixed martial arts, judo, wrestling, grappling, call it what you want. They haven't done enough to, at the moment now, many people still regard them, especially Jake Paul, they regard them as attention seekers, because really they're still known as YouTubers. I mean, Candace Owens, I don't mean to rant on. I don't. Even some time ago, Candace Owens was talking about a remark that Logan Paul had made back in 2019. And I think she was talking about it sometime earlier this year. And first of all, she said that Logan Paul, she called him this YouTuber. And I have to say that when I was walking down the street, I laughed. I thought, hold on, haven't you seen all the boxing that he's been doing to at least, he regards himself as a professional boxer. So I mean, didn't you see that? Don't you or don't you agree with it? Don't you also regard him as a professional boxer, not just a YouTuber?
Yeah, but he was a YouTuber for a longer time than he has been a professional boxer. I don't think he's taken it as seriously as Jake. I think Jake is taking it more seriously. But that's like saying Michael Jordan went into baseball after. Why would you call him a baseball player or a basketball player?
You make a good point there. You make a good point. I say that because like many other people, I go back to the points again. They still have so much to do to prove themselves. They might be professional boxers on paper, but in the ring, in reality, in real life, I think they're yet to convince many people. They're yet to convince many fight fans, whether it's boxing or mixed martial arts. So that's the stance that I take on the whole matter.
No, and that's fair enough. I don't dislike him as much as everyone else. I think he's doing what he's doing. He's making money. He seems to be taking it serious. He's actually taking on the challenge of a boxer now. His fight with Tyrone Woodley would be more competitive than a lot of professional boxers' first five fighters. Most of them fight people with losing records, 0-14, 0-20, fights like that. I've looked at Canelo's record. Like the first five fighters he fought, barely had any wins. So he's had the same level of competition in my eyes than boxers do starting out. But it's going to catch up. It's going to catch up on him because he's going to get dragged into deep waters. Like he went to the decision with Tyrone, which is the first time he's ever gone. But it was like Tyrone held back. But it's going to catch up on him anyways, and he's going to. I don't know who's going to win. I think he could beat Tommy. I hope, like maybe he won't, but I think he could. Anyone can beat anyone. Anyone has a puncher's chance, but I think Tommy might be the stopping of him. And I think, like you said before, if he gets knocked out and embarrassed, I think he might just go away quietly then.
Let's see what happens. I'm seriously. You mean the way that the Fury family have put this whole thing? I mean, more or less the whole family came out to support Tommy Fury at that press conference. His brother and his father were there. So I think for them, maybe they all came out because they dislike Jake Paul, or because they really think that their son, their brother, does stand a chance of winning this fight, and it's going to be a big money fight because the lovers and the haters for Jake Paul are going to tune in. Likewise, the haters for Tommy Fury are going to tune in also. And I think they said that if he doesn't win, he's going to have to change his surname to Tommy Bambles or something.
Yeah. I think they only went. I only think they only went because Tommy wouldn't get the views by himself, and Tyson Fury would. His father's more famous than Tommy. Their father is.
Really? No, he's
John Fury.
he's a former boxer himself.
Yeah.
But look, for this fight, I think if it does happen, I think Jake Paul's gonna be in for a rude fight. This is the fight that I can honestly say that Jake Paul's gonna be in for a massive awakening. And Tommy Fury does stand a really good chance in winning because this is going to be a very different boxing match compared to all the other fights that Jake Paul has had. So fingers crossed that I'm not crossing any fingers. If the fight's going to happen, Tommy's going to have an easy win. I think it'll be a knockout in the first round.
I think it'll go longer in the first round, but we'll see.
No, putting a good show for the fans to watch, make it worth their money.
Yeah.
So what else is there?
What do you make of Ben Askren? Do you think he'd come back? He'd actually come back to fight Nate Diaz. He says he will. And is it something that'd interest you?
Well, excuse me. How that fight go? Because I think it was only the Jake Paul fight that Jake Paul had with Ben Askren that kind of triggered my attention into Ben Askren as a fighter himself, and also just coming to terms with and just discovering that his striking capability was really, really not good. On the ground, he's a really good wrestler. There's no question. I've been told if Ben Askren gets his hands on you while you're on the ground, then you're in trouble. But on his feet, his stand-up is absolutely awful. I watched how he throws punches, how he throws strikes, his striking capability. Really, it's not sound rude because I like the guy. He's not the sort of person that likes to start fights or to trash talk on other people unless if they ask for it. But no, his stand-up is not great. And the thing he's admitted himself, his striking capability is not great. But then Nate Diaz, on the other hand, I'm not. How do I say? I think it would be close, but I think Nate Diaz probably is the much more well-rounded fighter, slightly better. Only thing is that he gets injured really easily. But I was told it's because he has like a skin condition or so that if he takes not even that much damage to the face or so, he starts bleeding almost immediately.
It's from the years of fighting, all the cuts he would have sustained, that he's just got scar tissue. So whenever someone hits him, especially above the eyebrows, because he would have gotten loads of cuts, it just opens up so easy because it's taken so much punishment over the years. And that's what happened with the Jorge Masvidal fight.
I see. Okay. Well, no, back to the main question. Nate Diaz versus Ben Askren. I would say it'll be close. But if I had to put my money on it, if my hand was forced, I would place my money on Nate Diaz when taking the win away from the fight, either by decision or by a knockout. Or by a knockout. What about you?
Yeah, like you said, he's more well-rounded. I think he could take decision, knockout, submission. I think he could. He's got more options than Ben, because even though Ben is a very good wrestler, but I think he came to the UFC after his prime, because he was semi-retired really, and he wasn't fighting until he got traded. Then he took a chance to come to the UFC. He had a bad first fight, even though he won it. He did a bad call. Then there was obviously the Masvidal, and then the Maya one, and then he left. He said he'd come back. Is he going to come back for a payday? Is that what he's looking for? But I think, like, even if he got Nate to the ground, like, Nate's so good with jiu-jitsu, like, could he sub him off his back? Like, Ben Askren made one mistake with Maya, and then that was it. It was over. You know, with jiu-jitsu, you make one move and you're
Yeah,
caught in
of
an
course.
armbar triangle. So I'd go with Nate all day long. I think Ben Askren, especially now, he's after having hip replacements as well, I think. So he had that just before the Jake Paul fight. So
Well,
so
and
I don't know.
also,
Nate,
is that a fight that fight fans want to see?
not me. Not for Nate's last fight. No.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, it depends on the UFC. Depends on Dana White what they want. Um, so yeah, just wait and see. But I mean, if again they're just in conclusion to what you said, yeah, Nate Diaz will take the win. Now, I said that you'd be steering this conversation, this episode. So whatever you want to
Okay.
talk about is what we'll talk about.
Okay. Did you see what Connor said, which was quite interesting? Obviously, he's having a back and forth with Nate. Nate said something. You declared war, but you're already dead. And Connor said you should have killed me when you have a chance. So that's obviously open up. But see, I think the two of them know, even though they talk to each other, I think they both know what they're doing. They both know they're selling a massive fight. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that would be the fight to make. That would be the best fight to make for his last fight, because just think of the money.
Yeah,
Just think
yeah,
of
of
the
course,
money.
yeah. Yes, yeah.
But Connor says something interesting, or tweeted something interesting. As you know, if you go on every day or every second day, because I go to check to see what he says, because he tweets and deletes so often. We talked about this.
Yeah.
He tweeted something along the lines of, "You're just gonna have to get over it. Whoever's the lightweight champ, when I come back, I'm fighting, and he's just gonna have to deal with it." So what do you make of that? Do you think on his return that he'll go straight into a lightweight championship fight?
Well, first of all, many people, including myself, I'm still quite intrigued about how his leg collapsed when he was fighting Dustin Poirier in the second in their rematch. No, in the what I call no, the second rematch is at UFC two. No,
The trilogy fight.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how his overall health is, because just how that he lost that fight was just really incredible. I mean, what would happen in the next fight? Would he I don't know. Many people even consider that the guy is no longer what he used to be. Of course, he's a lot older now. But even then, well, it depends who the lightweight champion is and at the time.
I think he's banking on it being Dustin.
Might not be Dustin. No, this sport's
No, it might
crazy.
not, but
This sport's crazy. Things change all the time.
no, I don't think it might not be Dustin. It probably won't be. Like Charles Oliveira, like, people underestimate him, and that's how he's after creeping up and becoming champion. No one really expected it. Like, and I heard someone talking about it the other day, and it made sense. How people look at Charles Oliveira, because he's had 30 odd fights in the UFC. So he's really, a lot of people who've watched it for a long time have, like, kind of watched him grow. but he's taken a lot of setbacks, Joe, and a lot of people still look at his setbacks, Joe, when he's lost, when he's been KO'd. But like when you look at the people he lost to, Max Holloway, Cub Swanson, Donald Cerrone, and these were at the times when like Donald Cerrone was not the Donald we know now, but the killer Donald Cerrone. But he's had quite a few fights. I think he's one of the top for fights. He's got the most submissions in UFC history. But he is very good. He is underestimated, I think. But Dustin said he's not going to underestimate him. So it could be anyone, but I think Conor's banking on it being Dustin. But like you were talking about his leg, and can he come back?
It's not just that, but knowing Conor McGregor, there's always something going on. Both inside the octagon and outside the octagon, there's always some sort of issue going on. He's saying when he comes back at this point, he's going to fight whoever the lightweight is, and we'll have to deal with it. Well, when you do come back, when it's time for you to come back, when you anticipate you're going to come back to the sport, will you even be able to come back? Because there's always some sort of controversy that's always involved in. I mean, so the point I'm making is that never say never, but you never know. Because who knows tomorrow? Anything can happen. Anything can change, especially when you're someone like Conor McGregor, that there's always some sort of drama surrounding you. Even when there's no drama, he can see what he does. He always makes the drama happen.
Yeah, with all the controversy that though, like whenever he's scheduled to fight, he's never pulled out ever.
That's true.
Ever.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So when he's scheduled to fight, like he claims he goes in with injuries, but I think every fighter goes in to fights with little injuries that they have, and they just don't say it. But like he's never pulled out. So I think if he comes back to fight, I think if he goes back and he fights for the lightweight title, it kind of makes a mockery of the division. That like when you've got a division that's like that, when you've got Gaethje, Islam, Chandler, well, Dan Hooker is now moving down to featherweight. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You've got people like that. Tony Ferguson, I know he's lost 2. You've got Beneil Dariush, who no one actually talks about, who's actually number 3 in the rankings. And you've just got absolute killers. For him to come back after the loss and then the freak loss, the doctor stoppage, which he made her being called as the doctor stoppage, I just don't think it would look good. But then again, cash is king, and he's going to make cash. So if he's going to make money, Dane is going to put him in with Dustin. He's going to put him in with Charles if it makes not the most sense, but the most money for the company. But then I think you're going to have a lot of fighters very unhappy if that does happen.
Well, you know what they say: what the prince wants, the prince gets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have to be careful because what you told me from the past, yeah.
But like at the end of the day, if he wants to fight, he's gonna fight. Like saying, like, I disagree with a lot of stuff he does, and it's mainly outside. And I think sometimes the trash talk goes a little bit too dark. But there's nothing, especially here in Ireland, there's nothing like a Conor McGregor fight week. I don't know if you feel it, but if over here it feels different. The electricity, the rush. When the main event is coming up, it's like Irish people get the goosebumps. You're like, then he walks out to an Irish song sometimes, like so like there's nothing like. And if you look at anything that the UFC does on social media for coming up to a Conor McGregor fight week, it usually blows every other show of the year out of the water in terms of views and and pay-per-views. Obviously in the top 10, he's got about 6 of the top pay-per-views.
Yeah, I think recently someone actually was on MMA News. They kind of hinted or released some content that the true pay-per-view numbers for a past UFC event, they revealed or something. I can't remember who it was. There was a video on, is it MMA Focus or MMA World? Something about the true and pay-per-view numbers for a particular UFC event not too long ago, probably about last week or the week before or the month before, was revealed. But yeah, McGregor does talk about how much money he brings to a particular event, wherever it may be, whether it's an island or wherever that UFC event will be. But as long as he's fighting on that card, it's one of the things that he would like to talk about. But what's it like there in Ireland when he's fighting? Is it like everything just stops? You see his name on every single billboard, on the adverts and the newspapers?
No, it's just more of a buzz between people. Like the likes of people, they don't really advertise McGregor that much. The likes of the government. There was actually a parade in Boston years ago, and the Irish Taoiseach, which would be your prime minister, was in Boston, and he was actually walking alongside Conor McGregor, and he kind of like he kind of said like, no, I didn't want to be involved. Like he's not looking on too fondly by like the likes of the politicians and stuff like that. The buzz has actually gone down because for his last fight, I asked one or two people who wouldn't be big MMA fans, but they'd watch big fights when it comes up, and I was like, "Oh, Conor McGregor." And they're like, "When he's fighting?" I was like, "He's fighting Saturday." So it's not like it used to be. I remember I would be in my house here, and you would hear everybody on my road would be up and awake. There'd be people drinking. You just hear the cheering. Then after he wins the fight, they're out on the street singing "Ole, Ole, Ole." That's the way. That's the way it was. It's not like that anymore. But it's just something different. But even like now that it's quieter, me myself, when I go to watch a fight week with Connor, it just does feel different because he does bring that different atmosphere. And he is one of the reasons why the UFC is where it is, whether people like him or not, or agree or disagree with him. There was a huge rise in the popularity of the UFC when he came about.
There's no one that there's like him, John Jones, and some other few people in the organization. That's the reason why they can get away with so much murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I shouldn't have said that, should I? I shouldn't have said
No. But yeah, they can kind of get away with what they do. But even if you look at John Jones, like because he's considered the pound for pound great GOAT by a lot of people, and especially Dana, that's why he gets away with it. But his drawing power isn't actually as big as like he's in none of the top 10 pay-per-views, I believe. I'll have to check it out, but I believe he's not up there. He doesn't draw a million. John Jones, he draws 750 or something like that. He doesn't draw huge amounts either, but it's just because he's so good. And I think it's because I think it is a factor of what you said. He was coming up when the pay-per-views weren't that big, but now that he's in and out of trouble all the time, and then when he wins a title, he gets suspended and stripped. So I wonder if people thinking I don't want to pay for it because chances are he's going to pop tomorrow, and then the whole thing is discredited, like he did at 214 with was it 214 with Cormier, and he popped and then he got stripped again. So, but they do get away with more, like you said, they get away with more because of who they are.
They bring in the Cassius King, basically. I don't have to say too much there. Cassius King's all about the money. I was going to talk about the fights for the next event, but UFC 44, that's actually the 4th of December, which is next weekend. Because my attention was focused on when I saw that, I thought, okay, maybe this summer I could talk about something else. Excuse me.
Yeah, we can talk about the fights.
The problem is I haven't actually looked at any of them.
All right, fair enough. We can edit that part out. I can talk about did I send you, did you watch the fight I sent you actually?
Which one? The Cage Legacy?
No, the IUR one. It's an Irish promotion with the two guys with the submissions. Did you watch it?
I think I watched some of that. I was on my way to work. I just going underground, and I couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi in time for my train came. I think I saw parts where it was really, as in the two guys going head to head. It's a really fiery match. Yeah, I have to remind me of their names.
Taylor Quinn and Oisin Fox. I was live at the event, and I actually have my own footage from where I was recording from Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And during the 9 minutes, because obviously they're amateur, so the 9 minutes, all you hear me say every like minute or two is "Oh my fucking god!" Because if you've seen any of it, Like
Yeah.
we had people there that have covered pro events and everything, and they said that's what probably the best amateur fight they've seen. Because if you've seen, like, one was in an arm bar, it was tight, and then all of a sudden he's on top punching, and then all of a sudden he gets put in a triangle, then he rolls over, puts the other guy in a triangle, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? And it was just, if anybody's watching this that's not familiar with Irish MMA, just put in IUR Fighting Championship, I believe it is. IUR Fighting Championship. I'm not sure of the end, but Oisin Fox versus Taylor Quinn. Like, the fight for an amateur fight is unbelievable.
What did you
Like
say that was
Oisin,
was that through your private Instagram? Was it through your MMA page, Fans View?
yeah, I can't remember.
Did you upload it to your account?
No, I didn't. If you just go onto YouTube and put in Oisin Fox v Taylor Quinn, it should be the first thing that comes up. But it's a fight. Like, even the third round, the second round, the first round, it was just, I've never seen a fight. Do you know the way most people, everyone kind of likes to stand and but like we all do appreciate the groundwork. This was a fight where I was like, get off your feet and go to the ground. No, I just want to see more of ye on the ground with your arm bars, your transitions, because Taylor's quite slick at his transitions. And coming into this fight, people were like, I had seen clips of Oisin, and I thought he was just mainly a striker, but everyone was like, no, good ground game, good ground game. And then when I actually watched the fight, I was like, I thought on the ground Taylor would have the advantage, even though Oisin is quite strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, but it was on the ground the whole time, and then Oisin won by split decision. And actually, it was Emmanuel who said to me, because I walked around to him and I just went, wow, like, what a fight. And he goes, I guarantee that's going to be split decision, because I can't pick who would win that. And it was a split decision.
I'm looking at the fight now.
It's more into the second round and the third round where it gets really, really, like, I think at the end of, or in the middle of the first round, I think Taylor is caught in an arm bar, and then he keeps grabbing onto his leg, and he gets him in like a leg. I don't know what it's called. He's kind of gets his leg going back this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, someone gets in a triangle and there's like 10 seconds left and the triangle looks deep.
Yeah. No. Anyway, I recognize the logo and everything. It's just I didn't get around to watching it completely. But
Yeah, no, that's fine.
no, it was a good match. It was a good fight though, and though it may not be so relevant to what you just said, but this is also one of the other reasons as to why the big names can host a show that may not be that great, because they've got that big, massive following and a big audience. They can get away with just taking your money, just giving you something that wasn't worth your money. But the smaller names, they can't really get away with that. That was a good fight, and yeah, they don't get the recognition for it. You know, where a fighter has an injury, where the opponent checks their leg kick, and they don't realize that actually their legs been broken, so they step back and they fall over. That was actually in Cage Warriors I first saw that sort of injury, and I was so shocked that I went back and I watched that clip for about 12 to 20 times. And the broken bit of the leg looks like a floppy piece of whatever. God.
Like spaghetti.
Yeah. God, it looks God, just so awkward. I was like, Jesus Christ, are injuries like that actually possible? And you're seeing it there. Nothing is censored from you at all. It's mad.
Yes. It's not a nice injury to see, though, is it? I don't know how you watch it 12 to 20 times. It gives me the shivers, man, watching something like that.
Sorry. No, I just wanted to see it over and over again to make sure that what I saw is what I saw. So no, it's mad. What else I want to cover? What else was it? It's left my mind now. I think we covered Colby Covington, haven't we?
Oh no, not really. No, we haven't. What he said in submission radio.
I was just watching, I think, about half of it. So now I think a good chunk of I think about a third of the interview. And well, I think he slagged off Kamaru Usman for using steroids, what's he calling, fake Martin Usman or something.
Marty Fake Newsman.
What does that
He's
even
got the
mean?
best nickname. Because he's called Kamaru Usman, right? But it was actually Ben Askren who started this, because Ben Askren knew him years ago. And he goes, he's not Kamaru Usman. He's Marty Usman from Nebraska. And if you go back, there's an old video. He used to call himself Marty Usman. That's his
Really?
name. Yeah. There's a
Co-
video for it somewhere. That's why he calls him. And then obviously there was a lot of stuff pulled out. So Colby calls him fake news. I think he calls him fake newsman because he doesn't use the Marty in his name. He uses his like Nigerian heritage. I don't, because I'm not sure if that is his like name. And maybe, do you know the way when some people come to other countries they adapt to
Yeah, they use a
names
much more
of that.
Western name or so, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of Polish Paddies here and Marks. No, it's no, but it's, do you know, like when people go to different countries, they'll adopt a name
No,
that
yeah, of course. No,
is
no, yeah.
easier. So maybe obviously he used that. I don't know why you picked Marty. I don't think Marty's that great a good name.
Because I noticed this one particular phrase that I associate with just this particular mixed martial arts athlete, Colby Covington. And every time we talk Kamaru Usman, that name just keeps masquerading, just recircling in his mouth all the time. All the time. I just used to think, well, it sounds ridiculous. I'm not sure what it means, but it sounds ridiculous. Whenever I hear it, I crack up, start laughing. So yeah, I
What's
mean,
the other one? The EPO, the CEO of EPO.
yeah, I've heard that one as well. Rings a
Oh,
bell.
he's Street Judas. Oh, he's got so many. He's got so, like, I actually think he's so funny. But he kind of let the veil drop on his character for the last fight. Did you see when he went up to Kamaru and goes, "So I didn't mean that. That was to sell this fight. This is the money for you as well." Did you see
Hold
that?
on. I did see where they stood up right up. I mean, I think the ref had to just stay there, make sure nothing else happened. But I did see that. But is that really what Covington said to Kamaru Usman?
Well, they shook after, so that's what people are saying. I don't know, but the Kobe's never going to say that. What did he say? He said, "I told him, Marty, come here, Marty,
Yeah,
come here,
yeah,
Marty, come here." See, Kobe Covington is good. Like, I'd say after that, they'd done their 5 rounds, and Kobe was like Dana said, if Kamaru Usman wasn't there, Kobe would be champ. He's just unfortunate he is around the same time as Kamaru Usman, which is not unfortunate for us because we got to see 2 amazing fights.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
so um, I don't know. I think he let the veil drop because it did look respectful, to be fair, because they were both going, yeah, yeah. It didn't look angry. It didn't look
yeah.
aggressive. So I think he let the veil drop, and then he had to double down when he went on submission radio, and he had to say all this crazy shit as he does. But he knows what he's doing. Like we've said before, we've said on 1 or 2 podcasts before that he was going to get dropped unless he excited people. So he goes out to Brazil. He calls them all a bunch of filthy animals, and they're disgusting in the middle of in the octagon. And then that goes viral. Then they have to keep him. And then he just creates this character, and he's got his MAGA hat on. He's going to meet Donald Trump. But you can kind of see, I thought for the last press conference, the banter between him and Kamaru. You could see it was more lighthearted than aggressive. I don't want to say it was lighthearted, but it wasn't as aggressive
Yeah.
as. And hey, I know he said 1 or 2 things that weren't, but he wasn't saying it with much aggression. They were laughing back and forth. I think the two of them knew they were selling the fight.
Yeah, I know, of course, yeah. I mean,
I think
if Covington really meant what he said, well, I don't think Usman would have been laughing at all in the first place.
Yeah, because Colby said some very bad stuff. But I don't know. It is good. It is good banter. But what we actually wanted to talk about was a potential match with him and Masvidal.
Yeah.
And that would sell. That would sell because of the backstory, because they were roommates. They trained together for years and then they split. But like I've seen conspiracy theories, people with the tinfoil hats, I don't know. But they reckon that this has all been set up over time by Jorge and Covington, that they did split, but people reckon that they've let's say reconnected, and but they've kept that private, if you get me, to build a feud, to build this potential money fight. But I would love to. I think Colby runs through him though.
You think so? I mean, I think back to when Masvidal fought Askren just within 10 to 15 seconds, the whole match was over. Now, was that just luck, or was that just, Masvidal was just that good that he knows how to pinpoint, just how to deliver that knockout so well with so much precision that his opponent goes down?
I think it was, he had trained it and he was going for it, but it was luck as well. The fact that Ben went to go that way and he went to go down straight away, because that's obviously what he banked on, was Ben going. It could have been completely different. He could have ran and done that, and Ben could have been standing and he could have just kneed him in the chest, or Ben could have just stood out of the way. And actually, if you've seen what Ben Askren put on his Instagram, he put a picture of Nate Diaz running away from Masvidal, because Masvidal went to start that at the start of the Nate Diaz fight, joking. He ran up and then he stopped and Nate Diaz was running away, and Ben Askren put up, "Real men run towards the danger." Obviously taking a shot at himself.
I'm not seeing the video, but I think what you said, we said that what he said, Ben Askren, that real men run towards the danger, cowards run away. I remember seeing something like that, or something like that being said verbally, but the video, no, I'm yet to see that.
It was, I think he said it on Twitter, but I think he put on his Instagram a picture of Nate like running away when Masvidal went to do it. But that's just Ben Askren. But I'd like to see Colby and Masvidal. Masvidal is good. His striking's better. He gets the finishes more. But I think Colby is just relentless. His cardio, I'm not saying Masvidal has good cardio as well, but I think if it goes to wrestling, I don't think Masvidal will be able to handle him. Like Colby's pace, he puts the pace on you. He hasn't got the knockout punch, but he has volume. He peppers you and peppers you and peppers you. Whereas Masvidal can find that shot. And that's where it could be exciting, because Colby could pepper him and then all of a sudden Masvidal just hits him and he's gone. But I would like to, would you like to see that fight?
Be an interesting fight. Yeah. There's certain fights I'd like to see, but I know it's never going to happen. It wouldn't happen so quickly, not just yet. But this fight, I'd say I'd like to see that, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's a fight that would, put it this way, if because the UFC knows it's going to be a massive fight, they'll sell so much and so well, if they were to give a ridiculous price for the pay-per-views, I probably wouldn't see. I'd rather watch the highlights later on the following morning or the following afternoon. That's how strongly I feel about the fight happening. But I mean, compared to some other names going head to head, I mean, seeing one of the Dagestan boys find those fights, I'd definitely like to see one of their fights. But this one, I mean, yes, but I wouldn't say the fight's just, it has to happen. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, for me, I think it has to happen. For me, that's me personally. I would pay for it. Usually the UFC don't change their price point. Not in America anyways. It's usually like $80 or something like that. And to buy it, it's probably only about 10 English pounds or something though. But they usually don't change their price point, but I would see that. I would prefer to watch that than Islam. Because for me, I like the entertainment aspect of it as well.
Okay.
So, I just can imagine the build up to that fight. Whereas Islam is just like, I smash you. it's going to be that for. It's going to be that for sure. And I'm not taking anything away from him. This like he does his talking in the cage, and he beats people and he beats them very well. But I just like, as Kazmat said to Conor McGregor, let's make some big drama. I like the big drama. I want to see the big drama. I want to see Colby, and I want to see how this plays out. So, and I would buy it. I wouldn't say I'd stream it because Dana White come looking for me.
Oh God. You see, they say that all the time, but people always find a way. People always find a way. I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone from the inside of the UFC that's letting people stream or to just watch without paying the full price.
Yeah, the quality is quite good. The quality is quite good on the illegal stream, so I've heard. So my friend said. But to see Dana White, he was watching the Canelo fight when Rose was fighting Whaley at Madison Square Garden. And then did you see when they asked him, did you pay for it? And he went, yeah. So he obviously...
Yeah, of course. This whole thing is childish because it's childish. I mean, because I'm sure the promoters for that boxing, for the Canelo fight, will be saying that, you got to pay. They'll be taking the same attitude he takes with his own organization, the UFC, that all the viewers and fight fans have to pay to watch his events. But he himself, as a fight fan for another organization or another athlete that he supports or finds entertaining, he won't pay himself. So, the hypocrisy is rife. It's just ridiculous.
I know, it's crazy. But like, Dana White doesn't have $60. He's worth millions and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. He owned part of the UFC, so he got a big payout when it got sold, and he still owns some of it. So
of course,
he made a bet
of
1 million on 1 million on Canelo, did he not? He made a bet of 1 million, but he couldn't pay $60 to watch the fight.
That guy, I don't know what that guy has a weird behavior. I mean, in this sport, people are strange, but he himself, he's notorious for his erratic, hypocritical sort of behaviors and attitude. It's ridiculous sometimes. And yeah, and even we can talk about him not paying to watch a fight for another organization. He won't pay his fighters properly, will he?
No, no, but we've talked to fighters as well. Like we've talked to Jennison. Like, look how much he got. What was it, 2,000 to fight in like the biggest promotion in China?
Yeah, I was shocked at that. Yeah, 3,000. He said
3,000. So, and I know they're not making much, but Sean Brady, who fought at the weekend, they put up, his personal, and he actually wrote underneath it, "This is completely false." So are people, because one or two people have actually claimed, some people will come out and say they don't get paid enough, but one or two people have come out and said as well, and I'm not defending Dana White because I think they should get paid more, have come out and said, we don't want people to know how much we get paid because we don't want our cousins to come out that we haven't seen in 20 years. We don't want our family members to start asking for handouts. Basically, if they know they're earning hundreds of thousands, they said they don't want people to know what they are.
It's absolutely rubbish. Of course I mean, unless if maybe you're not earning enough, then you may, and you try to reason with your employer as much as you can to pay you what you're worth, then of course you might want people to know because, it could kind of not coach, but it would compel your employer to pay you properly. You want to make as much noise as possible to hopefully garner as much support as possible for your cause and to be paid and compensated properly, right?
Yeah, but if they don't want people to know, if they don't, why would they? What, some people might not want the public to know. They might not want their family to know.
Well, when you say that, wouldn't that be reliant on your circumstances? First of all, how well are you being paid? Are you being paid well as far as you're concerned? If you're not being paid well, then you're not going to be very happy about it. So naturally, you might want to make some noise about it. Noise in the right way, probably be protesting or maybe taking your employer to court to be paid properly. I mean, there's been all this talk about having a fighters union, but it's never really happened. So
no, it won't. I don't think it will happen either.
Hold on. But finishing on this point, the fighters that come out and say they don't want people to know how much they get paid. Well, that would be reliant on what the circumstances. The point I made earlier, if you're being paid well, then usually you might want to keep that to yourself. If you're not being paid well, you're not going to feel happy, and you might want to make some noise about it to compel your employer to pay you adequately. But the point you just made about, what did you say again?
I can't remember what exactly was it.
So what did you say? What did you say? You said something about even I can't remember now what you said. It's something to do with related to being paid, but I think it's kind of branches off the topic we're discussing.
About what Brady said when someone said to Brady got paid X amount, and he said, "No, this is completely false."
No, that's the point we're talking about. You said something else, but I said, hold on a second, let me finish this point.
Oh, that a lot. Some people have said they don't want, like, because they get extra bonuses and stuff. They don't want their family. They don't want people around them to know exactly how much they're making.
No, it wasn't that. No, I
No.
think I would clarify that. Yeah, but that would depend if you're making
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
money, a lot is in tons, and then not just what the employer going to pay, but think about what the sponsors are going to pay, because a lot more sponsors are going to
Yeah.
approach you if you're winning and doing well, because they want you attached to their brand. Their revenue is going to go up. They pay you for every time you wear their brand, whatever. There's something else you said. I just can't remember it now. And you said you can't remember either.
Oh, I said a lot of things that I forget about a lot.
All right.
Within
Okay.
2 or 3 minutes. We'll watch this back and we'll
Yeah.
answer it in the next one. To be continued.
We could do that. Yeah. No, we will do that. Or not. What else do you want to talk about? I mean, I would have covered the upcoming fights, but I mean, I want to watch them before I make my prediction.
And then they're not to next weekend as well. So I don't think there's anything else really in news wise.
All right, guys. If you listened this far, if you've watched this far, thank you very much. And if you enjoyed our content, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like. And yes, you can follow us on YouTube. You can also listen to the podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, and on Google Podcasts. And also, I've seen that the content has been shared on other platforms as well. So you can be sure to see us in other areas of the internet also. So, anything else you want to add, David?
No, thanks very much again. And we'll be doing some more soon. And we're going to have some more guests, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Super
Definitely.
excited. Super excited.
All right. All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you for having me on, and let's see you soon.
I'll see you. Take care. See you.